The Hate You Give stars Amandla Stenberg, Regina Hall, Russell Hornsby, KJ Appa, Common, Anthony Mackie, and Sabrina Carpenter. And the plot of this movie is that it's based on the young adult novel of the same name, directed by George Tillman Jr. And the story of this movie is Starr Carter is a 16-year-old black girl who lives in the fictional, mostly poor black neighborhood of Garden Heights. But she attends the more affluent, predominantly white private school, Williamson Prep. So one weekend, a gun goes off at a party Starr attends, and she is driven home by her childhood best friend Khalil. On the way home, they are stopped by a police officer, and he makes Khalil get out of the car. And what happens is he reaches aside for something, and what happens is there's a little something that happens to him, which I won't spoil, but the police officer does something very stupidly, and his death becomes a national major news story, and she tries to keep her identity as the witness as secret from everyone, leaving her two best friends and her boyfriend unaware of it. And so having to keep the secret and her uneasy balance between her two worlds is challenged. And so facing pressure from all sides of the community, she has to find her voice and decides to stand up for what's right and get justice for the death of her friend. This movie, The Hate You Give, was amazing. This is another film I easily would have put in my more underrated films and most overlooked if I wasn't thinking right, because The Hate You Give really shows a look at just how real the situations that we are facing today is. This movie does not pull no punches. It doesn't play no games. It does exactly what it's supposed to do, and that's what I really love about it. I really love the writing in this movie. This was written by the now late Audrey Wells, who died from cancer prior to the film's release. And the script is so well written and so well directed by George Tillman Jr. I can't really falter either one on their part, because this film really requires you to take all of this in, the subject matter of what's going on in. And now the subject matter in this movie may be a little too much for some people to handle, but I actually think that it is best for you to watch this film, because this film tells you exactly what you need to see. It shows you exactly what you need to see, and I applaud this movie for doing that. I really appreciate this film for going into directions that you wouldn't see. And this is a very different film when it comes to the young adult novel adaptations. This is a very different film. It deals with a subject matter that not a lot of people can deal with, but I feel like the subject matter here really well told. The PG-13 rating really sticks to it, and you have a lot of dramatic elements, a lot of emotional elements, and I think that's where this movie does excel at, is in the directing and writing. The score and cinematography and editing are all top notch. The technical aspects are great. Acting wise, the acting is very strong in this movie from everyone. Amandla Stenberg, I saw her in another movie last year called The Darkest Minds, and I thought The Darkest Minds was okay, but this is definitely a step up from that film. She is really great in this film. You understand her character having to go through the pressures of what she has to do. You also got Carmen in here. You got Anthony Mackie. You got Russell Hornsby, Regina Hall. Issa Rae comes in as someone who helps Starr along the way. KJ Apa, he plays the character of Chris, and he takes over for the original actor Ken Lawley, who was fired during production of this movie simply because for making racial slurs during production. That's what happens when you do something like that. You're gonna get replaced, and I don't blame them for, because KJ Apa, aside from Riverdale, he is also really great in this movie. Then you have Anthony Mackie, who's worked with George Tillman Jr. before in the Notorious B.I.G. movie from 2009. And you have the gorgeous, beautiful Sabrina Carpenter in this movie. Now, Sabrina Carpenter, she's a great actress. Girl Meets World, Adventures in Babysitting, 2016, and she's an amazing singer. Almost Love, Alien. I love her music, and I love when she's doing movies, and she is great in this movie. And as far as I'm concerned, everyone is a standout. And I kind of feel like this movie kind of deserves a little bit of Oscar nominations, especially for Amandla Stenberg's performance. But we'll see what happens when it gets close to Oscar time, because this film truly deserves the recommendation. It only made $28.2 million. Now, I know some people is not going to be able to handle the subject matter, but I will say give it a chance. It is a different movie from the other young adult novel adaptations, and I have to say I really enjoyed this film. I'm gonna give The Hate You Give my JD Bronze Rainbow Silver approval. Is that darn good? I definitely recommend watching this. Let me know what you guys think about The Hate You Give down below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? What is your favorite movie directed by George Tillman Jr.? My favorites are, of course, Soul Food, Notorious, and this movie. And what is your favorite young adult novel adaptation? It can be Harry Potter, it can be Maze Runner, it can be this movie, it can be any movie. And be sure to click the subscribe button where I do film reviews, TV reviews, reactions, rankings, top 10s, all that stuff. And let's continue the road to 1K subscribers. You guys keep it cool and join the epitasticness. Bye bye.